Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. You can follow me on Instagram, Movies TV Mad X. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. So it's all kicking off because of what happened on the Smallville podcast. So as you know, Smallville was a prequel, a Superman prequel, a pre-Superman story. For 10 years, this was a show that wowed me. I loved it. I was obsessed with it. I still am. I watch it all the time. The creators, Al and Miles, did a fabulous job. Michael Rosenbaum is my favourite interpretation of Lex Luthor. And Tom Welling was a great Clark Kent. Erica Durant's great Lois Lane, etc., etc., etc. The show did everything. It's my favourite DC live-action adaptation. It's just brilliant. Anyway, something happened on the recent edition of Talkville, which is what they call a podcast they do every week for Smallville. So they normally sometimes get on Alfred Gough and Miles Miller, the creators of Smallville. Anyway, Miles Miller made a bit of a gaffe. I don't know if this was done purposely. He was talking about Michael Rosenbaum's performance as Lex Luthor and Tom Welling's performance as Clark Kent. And he was basically saying that, you know, he doesn't know Henry Cavill, but he was never convinced by him as Superman, but he thinks what Tom Welling did was brilliant. First of all, let me say I love what Tom did on Smallville. Big fan of the show. But Tom Welling thought he was too good to wear the Superman costume. Henry Cavill wasn't. But what we really need to do here is discuss why mention Cavill when you're praising Tom Welling. There's no need to do it. So why did they do that? Well, you've got to remember, Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor, is also very good friends with James Gunn. And this could be the reason he was shit-talking Cavill. To be clear, I like Miles. I love Miles. Great creative. Him and Al are doing a great job with the show Wednesday as well. But let's be clear, there was no need. There's actually no need to shit-talk Henry Cavill. Now, it's not like he sat there insulting him badly and giggling and laughing about Henry's performance, but why mention Henry Cavill? It's almost like there was a method to the madness. It was like they're using the popularity of Smallville to dull the popularity of Henry Cavill's Superman. Because let's not forget, James Gunn has created so many gaffes and he's losing the popular vote. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's attempting to use his good friend Michael Rosenbaum to win this war. Because let's be absolutely clear, everyone, this is a war between the fans and James Gunn, the fans of Henry Cavill's Superman. Now let me be absolutely clear again. It's not just Snyderverse stans who are gutted, angry, frustrated and upset that Henry is no longer Superman. Henry Cavill's Superman fandom goes beyond that. So when people start saying, oh, it's the Snyder fans, it's not just them. There's lots of people who loved Henry as Superman. And let's be clear, although I understand why a new creative would want to recast the role, if you look at Henry, you can't be using his age as an excuse. The man looks like a fucking Adonis. The man looks perfect as Superman, right? And all they've done, they've recast him with a younger model who looks exactly the same, you know, so the irony there isn't lost on me. But yeah, shit-talking Henry is not on. Do I think Miles Miller was told to say something about Henry Cavill and then kind of mention Tom Welling? Listen, these people are not just talking, right? On this video right now, I'm not scripted. I don't have an earpiece. I don't write my videos. Obviously, they're so bad. How could anyone write anything so bad, right? But I'm an improviser. When I used to go to drama school, when I used to do drama at secondary school, I was always told that I was very good at improvisation. I can't work off a script. It would make me so bad. I'd be going, you know, I wouldn't be able to do it. This is the only way I can do it. But these people are prepared. I actually believe that he mentioned Henry Cavill purposely because I think he was told to mention Henry Cavill. Because think about it, there's actually no need to mention Henry Cavill's Superman when you're praising another Superman actor. It doesn't make any sense. Ironically, when Alan Miles left the show, as showrunners, Tom Welling said this, that Smallville under them was getting too unrealistic. And they were looking for it to be a bit more realistic now that they'd gone. So he was actually putting them down, putting their leadership down. So that's interesting as well. So they're very loyal to him. They cast him, by the way. They really wanted Tom to play Clark Kent. They didn't just cast anyone. Tom did a great job. And he grew into the role and he became a better and better actor. In the pilot, you could see how raw he was as an actor. But Tom Welling became a great producer and a director. I love Tom Welling. This is not about shit-talking Tom. But at the end of the day, he was ashamed to put on the Superman costume. And Henry Cavill wore that costume, that beautiful costume, with pride. But as I say, I'm not here to shit-talk Tom Welling. I'm not here to shit-talk anyone. But the point is, you've gone on a podcast and to praise one actor, you've kind of had to say, well, I'm not convinced by this actor. It's just very strange to me, and it seems to me a little bit nefarious and a little bit like they're using the popularity of Smallville to dull the popularity of Henry Cavill. Again, let me be absolutely clear. James Gunn, there is nothing you can do. You can't win this war. It was wrong of the studio to lie that Henry was coming back and to suck Henry into those lies as well, just to sell tickets for Black Adam. That's why you did it. Henry Cavill was never coming back. I know that as a fact now, and you do. This is the same shit as pretending Tom Cruise liked the Flash movie, getting Stephen King to post on Twitter and lie that he loved the Flash movie. It's insane. These are the tactics, desperate tactics under David Zaslav. Zaslav getting Gunn to say that the Flash movie was one of the best CBMs he ever saw. Zaslav saying it was the best CBM he ever saw. I'm assuming he's never ever fucking seen a CBM before. And so this is how David Zaslav runs his business. And it isn't good, everyone. But I think it's classless. And I love that podcast. I love Michael Rosenbaum and Welling doing that podcast and bringing other actors and reviewing each episode. I love Smallville. I love those guys. But taking Henry Cavill's name in vain is not classy. But these are from the group, basically, if Michael Rosenbaum is friends with James Gunn is mates with Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada. They're the ones who gave him the job. So these are the people who greenlit, Justice League, and then the next recycling of the Snyderverse, which failed again, the Flash movie. And his DC universe is also a recycling of the Snyderverse, unless it's a full reboot, as I've been hearing. Who knows what's going on? Nobody actually knows what's going on. And now, after 4 DCEU flops, actually there's more than 4 DCEU flops, because Birds of Prey flopped, Wonder Woman 84 flopped, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad flopped. It's been flopped. Basically, right, imagine, I'm working in a sausage factory, right? And I keep on producing shitty, basically mid-tasting sausages, and they're out of shape. And I've been doing this for the past, let's say, 7-8 years. What's going to happen to me? I don't get to make fucking sausages anymore. When George Michael got me the job at his uncle's hairdressers, the cutting rooms, I couldn't wash women's hair properly. Guess what happened to me? They gave me a bottle of champagne and they bloody fired me because I was incompetent at my job. I lied I wasn't afraid of heights when I went and worked at a toy shop, so I couldn't climb up the ladder. I got fired for lying. This is what happens. But not in Hollywood. Not in the entertainment industry. In the entertainment industry, you fail upwards. And the DCEU keeps on failing because they keep on attempting to recycle Zack's work. And this war that Warner Brothers Pictures still have with Zack Snyder and shit-talking his Superman actor on a Smallville podcast isn't very classy. So unsurprisingly, Snyder fans have clipped this and they're putting it all over Twitter. Quite right too. Now, I don't want people to bully Miles. That's not what at the end of the day, Miles, you love Tom Welling. That's great. You didn't have to mention Henry Cavill. That's why it's a bit dodgy to me. So, you didn't have to mention him. You did mention him. And I think you mentioned him because you were told to mention that you wasn't convinced by him. Which, look, not everybody has to love Henry Cavill as Superman. That's fine. But why mention him in a podcast watched by thousands and thousands of people?